Hello everybody, this is Dr. Novak. What you see is the title of this video. It's not clickbait. It's something that I think most of you who have been watching my channel will be very interested in knowing. It's an eye-opener, if I should say that. I can kind of even say the worm has now turned. You definitely want to watch this video. If nothing else of any of my videos you watch, this is definitely a must-watch video. Also in this video I'm going to be talking about some new plants, the Radican sword plant and the Italian veil, which are no more than a week old now. And I bought them at Krabby Patty's here in Florida, but I'm going to show you a little something about these plants. You may want to stay tuned to that. But we will talk about emails I have been receiving. You definitely don't want to miss this. And for those of you who are new to this channel, tuning in for the first time, you definitely want to be a subscriber and maybe hit that bell, because we are going to get into more technical videos, which is aquarium thermodynamics, which you probably never heard in your entire life. We are also going to get into, not this video, but in other videos, thermodynamics. We're also going to get into a product I use for CO2, and it's made in China, but it's an excellent product, and I'll do a review on that in future videos coming up. I mean, everybody knows me when I do a review. I can usually nitpick and find something that needs to be re-engineered or whatever. Here's a product I definitely can't find anything. It's excellent. If you had to rate it 10 out of 10, it would rate 10. Very well made product, out for the hobbyists, very reasonably priced, and I would highly recommend it to any hobbyist that is out there to spend the money and get this product. Definitely for your CO2, and I will tell you about that in future videos. But right now we're going to get into what the title of this video is, and you are going to, in this video, be shocked if I do say so myself. And like I said, this technology and what I'm teaching you, the worm has now turned. Stay tuned. In this video, we're going to be talking about what the title says about the Anoxic Filtration System and the science of which, if you are watching my videos, behind this. As I have told you, as more people keep wanting to watch these videos from all over the world, many people have what I have saying. They make all kinds of claims. There are other video channels out there that show you all different ways of doing things. But the science and technology that you are learning on this channel, which is used now all over the world, is the science and technology that universities want to teach to their microbiologists. Yep, you heard it first here. Not what the other channels are teaching you. It's what this channel is teaching you for free. That they want their students now to start learning. Think about that. You go to a university or college, you pay $200, $400 a semester hour, plus another $300 for lab time. You are learning this for absolutely free when a college student has to pay to learn what you are learning. Of course, it's been tampered down a little bit because, don't forget, I'm dealing with people all over the United States. But I wanted to read you directly from the horse's mouth about wanting to now introduce undergraduate and graduate students to diverse research topics, career paths, interesting ideas, etc. I believe that your talk would be particularly interested to many students, especially those from our aquatic biology concentrations, as well as students associated with the Great Lakes Center. They now want to hear the science that you are learning in universities and colleges now. And this was by an Olga Novikova, PhD, assistant professor, Department of Biology, Science and Mathematics Complex. Okay, this is from a biologist. What she is asking for is the science of what you are learning be taught to graduate and undergraduate students. They're not worried about what other channels are saying because that is not science. That is just explains to you nothing in the form of how it works, why it works, what's the redox, what's the oxygen, what really happens long term, what happens short term. They don't explain it. What you are learning in these videos is how a natural system works. Water is constantly moving in and out of the substrate, constantly. But there's a way to do it. And there's a way to do it incorrectly or a way to do it where it doesn't work very good. That's why you are tuned into my YouTube channel versus theirs. They aren't interested in what they are saying. They're not interested in their systems. They're interested in the technology that's here for future biologists. So they can learn and understand the microbial science that is taking place in an anoxic filtration system or in the plenum that you are using. This is now going to be the science to be taught to our young microbiologists. You have to understand, this is it. You're learning it. You're getting it all for free. Not what other channels are saying or doing. They're not interested in garbage like that. They're interested in science. They're interested in what works. They're interested in how come it works. They're interested in why an anoxic filter for 30 years can be used with non-clogging and contain fish in an 800-gallon pond for 30 years and not have any sicknesses, not have any deaths, and have over 17 fish, and 3 of them being over 28 inches long. Do you realize how big of a fish that is? And 800 gallons of water, and a koi. You know how much food a koi eats? This technology that I'm teaching to you, that people diss out there and think, oh, I know more, and it's no good, is used by millions of people throughout the world. I get emails from all kinds of people. This is something that this professor brings up that one of her students have brought up to her about this technology and microbiology. And now they're feeling that, well, maybe we need to know this technology, because this, what I'm teaching you, this is the future, not what they're talking about on other states. That is not our future. That is our past. That is what we did. We tried it. It didn't work. Saltwater hobbyists are very familiar with deep sand bed filters, and you were supposed to have fauna and you were supposed to have worms inside of it. It didn't work. If it worked, everybody would be doing it today. It didn't work. The future of this hobby depends on the science that I am giving you, not old science that doesn't work. And we proved it hasn't worked. We proved it in the labs. We proved it in our aquariums. I get it proof with the emails that are being sent to me. There's proof. Oh, I used to do it that way, but the tank didn't do very good, or my plants didn't do very good, or I came up with hydrogen sulfide, and I explained to you why these occur and why, if you set up an aquarium, and believe me, I'm telling you right now, you watch it. Like, I use the fluval substrate, and I use laterite, and I showed you how I made it. You know, if a company fluval was smart, they would start adding a bag of laterite into their fluval substrate and telling people that this substrate is good to make an anoxic filter out of, or to make a plenum out of. That would be a key factor in selling their product for hobbyists, where they could pick up a bag of this substrate and say, hey, I can make a plenum. I already got a bag of iron in it where I can sprinkle it per bag. You think about it. Think about the potential of what you could sell, because this is it. This is the technology that they want university and college students to learn. They do not care about what anybody else on YouTube is talking about. They care about what I'm talking about. That's why I use the expression, the worm has turned. It now is what you're talking about on your YouTube channels is old technology, been using it ever since the Victorian days, but we now have learned words like bacteria. We now have learned about words like redox. Redox. We now have learned about a big word that years ago wasn't ever even talked about, anoxic conditions. What is anoxic conditions? We have now learned what plants want. Plants love anoxic conditions. They absolutely love anoxic conditions. They do not want to be planted in a substrate that has no oxygen. They want to be planted in a substrate that has low levels of oxygen, that carry the right kind of bacteria for them to develop their root systems and start working for you. And I'm going to show you the two plants I mentioned, the sword plant and the veil. And I'm going to show you after 1 week what is already happening. So I thought I would bring this up to you because she says it right here. She wants research topics for the college students, something they can research. She wants career path topics for her students and interesting ideas. So our future microbiologists can go out there and now they can start teaching you, or they can start helping us understand how these anoxic filtration, a BCB basket, how things work, so they can improve not only our life, but the life of the aquatic animals that live on our planet. I mean, there must be millions and millions and millions of fish every year that die because hobbyists just don't understand or know how to set up an aquarium the correct way. They don't know because they're constantly being told a way that someone came up with 40, 50, 60 years ago. And if it worked, everybody would be doing it, right? If it worked, everybody would be, or not, because it doesn't work as great as they say. Like I said, if you can get 90% of repeatability, you're doing great. That's better than the vaccine that they've been giving out. If you can get 90% of your people to make something and it works, you're doing real good in this hobby. So this is one of those things that now can turn into a money maker if manufacturers realize it and start advertising it to the hobbyists. They can start making some good money real fast and start changing the way we think about things, because such a system is not dependent upon plants. It's dependent upon bacteria, and the bacteria is going to grow no matter what. And the good thing about all this, and this is the thing nobody thinks about, if your electricity goes out, you don't have lights, you don't have bubblers, you don't have all that. What happens to a normal system when their plants can't photosynthesize and your electric's out for maybe a week? What do you do then? With this system, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether your plants are photosynthesizing at full peak. It doesn't matter. We're utilizing what God gave us, the bacteria, to stabilize an aquatic environment, not plants. The plants are there as an add-on, as a luxury, as a decorative piece. That's how I use plants. I haven't lost any fish. I don't lose fish. That's why my koi were over 30 years old and they're now sitting in a koi farm in Iowa, still alive today, because they lived in a pond that used the anoxic filter for over 30 years. And there are other hobbyists doing the exact same thing in their koi ponds. Exact same thing. And they've been going on for 27 years, 28 years, So this is, no matter if someone says, well, I'd like to see more and more and more people use it before I use it. Don't use it. But this is now what universities want to find out and learn. This is it, the Anoxic Filtration System. You are learning it for absolutely free. But now they want their young microbiologists to start learning this so they can utilize what I am teaching you for free, so they can utilize it and maybe apply the science, so when they go out there in the working world, they can say, I learned all about the anoxic filtration system. I learned about facultative bacteria. I learned how things work like a natural system, why it doesn't collapse. I've learned this, and they now can apply that science of which they learn onto what they progress with. Like I said, there's a lot to learn on this. There's a lot more research that could be done. I tried to get money for more research and it failed. I think I only got one person to donate money for research. One person. And thank you very much for that individual. Nobody was interested. So it's now out of my hands. I don't have the money. I don't have the wherewithals to keep researching and build 20 or 30 tanks. I don't have the space. I just don't have that kind of, but universities do. Students at universities do have the time, and they're young enough to progress with this. So the question I have to ask If all those other systems out there that you watch on YouTube, and I know some people are great followers of all those people, if their system was so great, why aren't universities interested in what they're doing? It's just a question. Why is no one interested? I have my own reasoning, because it's like, been there, done that. Your science, what you're talking about, isn't really science. It's luck. This is science that you're learning here. So, in concluding with all this, I want to thank all those who have been subscribers. I suggest that if you are not a subscriber, become a subscriber. Start learning some of this stuff. You, in a way, are our future microbiologists. I'm old now. I am not the future. All I can do is present to you what we know. That's all I can do. You are the ones who are going to have to learn. You're going to have to learn about thermodynamics. You're going to have to learn all this stuff as hobbyists, because it's no longer just setting up an aquarium like I did and be successful. It's now, let's have fun with the science behind what we are doing and not depend so much upon luck. And that is the problem with this hobby. We depend too much upon luck, not on the science that is known, not on the facts. That's why I set up my 20-gallon, I set up this aquarium, my next aquarium. They're all going to be set up. I'll set them up right in front of you like I did this one, and the 20-gallon I set up right in front of you. Boom, successful, right off the bat. What can I say? Anyhow, to get on with the whole thing, let me show you something that really is a little shocking about the brand new plants that are now just exactly 1 week old. Well, this is the Italian veil and Neratican sword that I bought. You're looking at them. They are exactly 1 week old. I just purchased them. Now, like all hobbyists do when we buy all new plants, I took out the pennywort that was in here. Pennywort is one of those plants that if you plant it, it is going to get long, stringy, and it's going to get bushy, and you're going to have to keep cutting it, trimming it, replanting it. So I decided to move that over into the 20-gallon because I took all the plants out of the 20-gallon and literally put them in this aquarium. But I saw these and I thought, well, I'll try them out. And like all good hobbyists, you get your plants, you clean them, you trim off any of the dead leaves or broken branches, okay, and you cut your root system down, correct? And I cut it down to about 1.5 inches. 2 inches long would be even the maximum you would leave your root system. And this is so you cut off the long, lengthy roots that are connected to the plant. So it's easier actually just to plant the plant itself if the roots are shorter, and let the plant redevelop its root system. And I wanted to show you this. Look at this. That's white roots, and here's one. And those roots were formed in less than 1 week. Look at that. Look at this. That root within less than a week. Now I'm going to show you this root was formed in 1 day. That is 1 day's worth of root growth from the plants. This is all in an anoxic filtration system. And you will see the root systems already coming from the crypt. Right here, you can see the root system. But here, this shows you, look at how nice and white and pure look at the length of those roots. Now remember, these roots were all cut back to be about 1 inch, 1.5 inches. That's it. Look at that. Incredible growth rate of the vascular system of these plants within 7 days. And like I said, I got these plants from Krabby Patty's there in Florida. If anybody's in Florida, they sell a lot of aquatic plants. And look at this. That is, and this one, look at that. Another root system. Can you see it? It's already developing. These plants were all just planted in the aquarium a week ago. And that's how fast they are now sending out a root system in the substrate. Plants don't do that unless you have oxygen in that substrate. I have proven that to students repetitively. You provide an oxygen zone with the correct amount of oxygen, and your plants will start growing immediately. They don't have to worry about trying to develop a root system in a substrate that has very little to no oxygen at all, where they now have to start pulling in what they need. Don't forget, all the nutrients they need are now being pulled in through that substrate very slowly, so they can grab whatever they need. And I'm going to say those roots have already developed at least 4 inches, which is, if you think about it, this especially, look at this long one here. That's going all the way down to the bottom of the aquarium, that root. So that root that was cut back to about 1 inch long has grown all that way in just 6 days. That's pretty incredible. That's 6 days of root growth. And this one here, that's probably over, I would say, over 1 inch, 1.5 inches long. 1 day. It grew that much of a root system in 1 day. It wasn't there yesterday, this morning, there it was. So this is something I did want to show you, that the anoxic filtration system, providing what your plants need, providing the nutrients they need, how they need it, at the right amount that they need it, they will grow, they will prosper for you. For example, this leaf, that's a brand new leaf. It didn't exist. In less than 7 days, that leaf right there you're looking at did not exist. It grew within 6 days. There are more leaves growing, and there are new shoots coming up. Let's see, there are new shoots coming up. Well, here's a new shoot coming up already out of the Italian veil right there. You can see it. But already, and here's another new shoot coming out of this Italian veil right there. New shoot. That's all within 6 days, because today is the 7th day. This one here is a little slower. It could be slower only because of it's not getting as much light as the other ones are. But this is really something that, when you think about it, that is fantastic growth within 1 week for these plants to already start sending out their root systems to hurry up and start taking nutrients out of the aquarium. And as you can see, so that's why I said in the beginning of this video, boy, if I was fluval, I'd be jumping on this stuff like a rape bait. I'll tell you right now. I'd be jumping on this like a rape bait. I'd be saying, heck, you can use our substrate for a plenum, and it will create noxic conditions, and put in a little bag of laterite with it. You would make out like a rape bait. I really think a company that doesn't start doing that, they're only going to hurt themselves in the long run. And this is really quite something when you look at it, how fast the root systems are beginning to grow. And there's another thing. Look at the roots. They're nice and white. They're not all brown. They're not black. They're nice and white. That means there is oxygen in that soil. If there wasn't any oxygen, those roots would turn black, or they would turn a real dark brown. But the root system of plants should be white if the right amount of oxygen is surrounding them. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And remember, what you are learning here in this video is the newest technology that we have available to us. Now, though the Anoxic filtration has been out for 30 years plus, but it is now technology that we have to grasp, and we finally have to think that we need to start thinking out of the box, because this is the technology that our future microbiologists are going to be learning. They're not going to be learning about what the other stations are talking about. They are going to be learning what I am teaching you. This is our future. It's not our past. This is the best we can do as humans right now to creating an environment that matches and equals that of a natural aquatic system. This is it. So until next time, enjoy your fish keeping.